What are these charges for? I was curious when I glanced at my credit card statement, which my husband typically handles. I was shocked to see a lengthy list of expenses, totaling a staggering amount. There was $3,000 for recommendations at a luxury hotel, $1,000 for meals at high-end restaurants, and $500 at a well-known spa. What's more, all of these reservations were for the same period, the dates when my husband was scheduled to attend a board retreat for our daughter's middle school PTA. Even though I'm not familiar with these types of indulgences, I know what it means to have a supportive spouse who helps me manage my demanding job. My husband made the selfless decision to become a stay-at-home dad, enabling me to pursue my career without any worries. I've always been grateful to him for being too good to be true. However, his true motives may not have been solely for the benefit of our family. I carefully slip something into his wallet while I contemplate this realization. I make a call to someone. He will be leaving in a week, probably with great spirit. I hope it will be an unforgettable memory for him. I'm a nurse. I work at a university hospital. Honestly, my days are so busy that there's no difference between days and nights. The reason I can continue working my crazy hours is my beloved husband, Glenn. I love my job and I'm proud of it. I couldn't choose between my marriage and my job and cried hard in front of him many times. He respected my determination and decided to be a full-time stay-at-home dad to support his family. He always pushed me to work to the best of my ability. He never paid attention to the curious eyes of other mothers. And Eva served on the PTA board at our daughter's middle. My daughter Sasha was also supportive. I, as a breadwinner, had been working hard to make ends meet for my family. One day I received a call from my credit card company. I changed the debit account for my own convenience the other day. The money wasn't this pasted in time for withdrawal, and it was an overdue. Oh, darn it. I checked my credit card statement in order to make the transfer since I usually left such matters. Tola, I hadn't checked her statement for years. I realized how lax I had been. My eyeballs almost popped out of my head when I saw the statement on my phone screen. The total amount was outrageous. I panicked thinking about what I had spent. I couldn't even remember what I bought. I decided to check the details there. I found a long history of which I had no recreation. Name of designer's brand. Famous Par Marie and a luxury watch brand. I like those brands, but I hadn't bought anything from them. For a moment, I wondered if Glenn, who had a family card, was planning to surprise me. I hadn't received any of them, though. Moreover, old purchases weren't made only on Wednesday. It was a day. I worked a night shift and Glenn had a board meeting. What's going on? I resolved to question him. As soon as I got home, I hurried home anxiously. Then I heard a voice calling out to me. Hi Maggie. Long time no see, are you on the way home from work? I was almost home when I ran into. She was also a PTA member and one of the few mothers I knew from the school. Hey, long time, thank you for always helping Glenn. I hope he isn't giving you a hard time. I didn't know what to say to her, so I quickly brought out this common subject that I could think of. She had me on the shoulders saying I was acting distant the moment she moved. My sons focused on the fragrance in the air. The perfume she wore was the signature of the Puffy Marie that was on the credit card statement. I had wanted to buy this so badly that I tried it out many times in the shop. I missed the timing to buy it in the end, but I clearly remember Descend smells nice. That's the one I wanted too. Did you buy? No idea what I asked her. That jealousy, I was ashamed of my foolishness. Still, the purchases were always made on Wednesdays when a meeting was held. A PD member wearing the same perfume. Once I suspected her, my thoughts went more and more toward unpleasant sight. Tara, of course, was unaware of my suspicion and cheerfully responded. Actually, I got it as a gift. It was our anniversary the other day. She laughed acutely. "Oh, that's so nice. You guys are so in." I felt relaxed, and after enjoying the casual conversation, we parted ways. It was not surprising that she had since it was a popular item. Even after the birth of her children, she still talked about her anniversary with the husband in such a cute, unhappy way. She didn't say husband. I stopped abruptly and returned to the place where I had left her. Of course, she wasn't there, but the urge to go after her was so strong. Glenn, and she had something going on. The little doubt that popped up in my mind swelled to the point that I could no longer ignore. The next Wednesday, my family saw me off to work as usual. Then I asked my colleagues to let me leave early. I didn't tell Glenn. Of course, if I told him it would have been meaningless. I waited for him a short distance from home soon after my mother-in-law arrived, and in turn, Glenn left for the meeting. So far so usual. I followed him to the school. The board members had a meeting in the classroom for about half an hour and then dispersed while most of them rushed back home. Clan slowly came out at last, arm with Shara. They stared into each other's eyes as they intertwined her fingers and walked toward a hotel. They had no clue that I was only a few meters behind them. My face grunge up with ears. I believed in him. I loved him. Did he allow me to work long hours for his convenience? I stood there feeling betrayed and despair. Mercilessly. My phone displayed the latest credit card usage, which showed the hotel bill. He just went. Eventually the phone was over and the two of them came out looking happy. I calmly snapped pictures of them. There were no more tears. Not even the traces of affection left in my heart. After that, I avoided seeing Glenn as much as possible, using my work as an excuse. Personally, I wouldn't have minded divorcing him right away. The divorce meant that I was taking Sasha away from her father. I didn't want to speak to anyone until I had a chance to think it through. Mom, Sasha's sudden boys brought me back to reality. I had been crying alone in the living room in the middle of night since that day. I thought I was being discreet, but it seemed that she had noticed something was wrong. She couldn't sleep, or maybe she just woke up. She came out of bed late at night and gently hurt me. I don't want you to be sad. Your enemies are my enemies. I won't forgive anyone who makes you sad. Even if it's Dad, I won't forgive him. Her words opened the floodgate that had been holding all the feelings. I wept like a child, tear of gratitude for her and apologies, and everything else spilled out. If I divorce your dad, things won't be the same as before. We'll have to move and we won't be able to see him every day. If you have to change schools, you won't be able to see your friends. I spelled out of my concerns one after another. She interrupted and assured me. I still want to be with you, Mom. I want to be a nurse like you. I'll be fine. So please do as you want. To help my hands tightly. Thank you, sweetheart. Encouraged by. I decided to act on my plan. I had gotten into the habit of checking my credit card statements and found out that Glenn was planning a week-long trip. He coded a PTA board retreat. In the past, I would have sent enough without a second thought. Common sense told me that it would have been unthinkable for parents with children to be away from home for a week at the same. Even if it were to happen, and even if Glenn were to advance the cause of the trip on the credit card, the destination and the type of hotel were far off from the norm. He underestimated me not to find out. His attempts to hide evidence became extremely difficult for. I had not only the list of credit card transactions, but also the details of the courses at a chic restaurant, the confirmation of the hotel booking, and even the request for a surprise cake. I was grateful to him for quitting his job and becoming a stay-at-home dad. Dad, I thought it was my duty to work hard to provide for my family in return. I was definitely not working for him to betray his family, and for a round like this, don't mess with me. On my next day off, I calmly began my revenge against him. First I called the hotel, and every restaurant he had booked, also the reservations, were made in his name. I knew the details when I told them that I was his. They didn't suspect me so much later that night. I took out his wallet that was left in the living room and put out his credit card. He used to carry around cash only before we got married and had never made his own card other than the family one. If his only card went missing, he wouldn't immediately don't his, something was wrong, so I put an expired one in his wallet. It had been renewed about 6 months ago, but I had been neglecting to get rid of it. I was truly amazed by my laziness and praised myself a little, only for that occasion. It looked the same, but it was still expired. If he used it somewhere, he would have found out right away. He just needed to last until he was away from. I am Libby. Now, I'm going to have a lot of discussions to make the school better. Sasha, take good care of your mom. Okay. Glenn left the house smiling, unaware of nanny thing. Sasha and I also saw him off with smiles on our faces. I could have pouched him in the face, but strangely I feel very peaceful thinking that it was the last time I saw. Well, let's get started. Yes, we made sure he was out of sight in an instant. Our smiles were concealed and we rushed to pack our belongings. The movers showed up shortly after, and thanks to their efficiency, we were able to move into our new home in no time. Excuse me. Where should we take this? Oh, don't worry about them. You can just leave them there. They took off wandering about boxes that were tied up in one corner of the room, and I handed them over to another mover who arrived. In turn, the contents were all Glenn's belongings. There was nothing left in the house after that. Waiting for his return in the living room filled with memories were credit card statements and picture of him and Tara that I had taken the other day. I also let my wedding ring that had lost its meaning and the dread of divorce papers. I noticed that my cell phone has tons of missed calls. They were all from Glenn, who probably noticed something strange on the trip. Too bad for. As an attack saying that I was unable to respond due to several emergency operations. I read my vibrating phone in the tower and put it in the bottom of my bag. By the time his Madeline calls had calmed down, my history had 100 Sasha and I couldn't help at it. Oh. I should probably make one last call. Yeah, that's a good idea. We made a call to someone later. What's going on here? Maggie, Sasha, anybody home? When Glenn returned home in a good mood after a week-long affair, he was shocked to find a house. Stand by what I had left behind for him. He repeatedly called me to no avail. Of course not. I blocked him on my phone. Then he received a call from an unknown number. He thought it was me and jumped at a call. Hello, what the hell have you done? I was asked to pay for all the bookings I had already prepaid online and my credit card. Do you have any idea how humiliated I was? This is nothing harassment. I had to borrow money from everyone, take responsibility and come up with the money now. So did you borrow 5 grants from each of them? If that's true. That's an awful lot of money. Did you go overseas? I bet you must have had a lot of fun. I hope Tara didn't give you a hard time. Glenn's defend at unexpectedly low commanding voice. He turned pale and started trembling so badly that he could not make a word. Oh. Is this Tara's? I'm so honored that you remember me. Yes, this is her husband. I note everything about you guys. I will make a firm demand for alimony from. I won't let you guys get away with it. He handed up the phones as soon as he finished. He had no interest in hearing what Glenn had to say. Panic-stricken. He tried to contact Tara, but a phone was dead. He had already been cancelled. It was a husband who I called and told about their affair that. He was surprised but not distraught and sounded deeply sorry. He was somewhat aware of her affair. It was still shocking for him to fight that her cheating partner was a close acquaintance. He even offered to cooperate with me to do what I wanted after I got the address of her parents from. I sent all of Glenn's belongings along with a copy of my divorce papers and pictures of their affair to them. They were of course furious. They were in such an uproar. They were in such an uproar that the whole neighborhood came to note about terrorist divorce and losing custody offered children due to the adultery. Her parents were wealthy with a successful local. She probably thought that they were going to help her no matter what. They were enraged with her actions, which were fed to their credibility as a business owner. They did not even let her inside a house when she had come to them in tears. In the end, she had nobody to turn to and began to live alone in a small apartment. She worked day and night at a place that was famous for its low wage and hardship to pay alimony. Meanwhile, Sasha and I temporarily moved in with my parents until the divorce was finalized. Glenn also had returned to his. I'm actually still in touch with them as they care about Sasha greatly. Crawled into his. He spends every single moment on the farm, and now he can't afford to delay his alimony and child support payments. His dad sounded deeply disappointed in him. My lawyer managed to negotiate a fair amount of alimony in addition to child support, resulting in a significant monthly payment for him. While he may have to work hard to make ends meet, he won't be able to save for years to come. It sounds like a nightmare. After our divorce was finalized, I moved to a new home with Sasha, and she had to switch to a different school. Fortunately, her new teachers and classmates have been welcoming, and she's been enjoying her new life. Now that Glenn is in the past, I'm the one taking care of the household. Maintaining a balance between work and home is much more challenging than I anticipated, but I prefer this lifestyle to being in a toxic relationship with my partner and friend. I feel rejuvenated and liberated from all the negativity. Now, I strive to be happier and work even harder than before.